We are live. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. We are day 67, 365 days of guitar practice. And if you're brand new, I'm Jay Wills, old dude getting back into learning how to play guitar after 22 years of hanging music up and all that stuff. And for all of you returning subscribers and new subscribers, we're at 600. Thank you all so much. Woke up this morning to a cool 600, and I was like, that's awesome. We're almost there. We're going to get a little last piece of new gear when we hit 1,000 subs. And for you old school OGs coming back, you know the deal. We're going to do a little jam session. However, before we get started, and if this is your first video, you're in for a hell of a ride. So the day before last, some of you following along, did some landscaping. And yesterday, I was feeling a little bit in the old arm, you know. Woke up this morning, and pretty much my fingers and hands don't move. So I did my morning practice, totally sucked ass. 45 minutes, got through it. This is my lunch practice, actually, and my hands actually getting more stiff as the day goes on. So, because I didn't want to have to completely struggle my way through this evening, we're going to do a little lunch session today. It's Whammy Wednesdays, by the way, but not all is lost. Miss Jackson, got a full step and a half down tune last night. So she's at G sharp and D sharp and all the way down. Chuggy as hell. She sounds cool. We're going to be putting her through the Peavey. Going to go through the Orange Terror for a little intro, that intro song that I was working on yesterday. It's going to change up a little bit because things are a little stiff. And but we're going to get through it. That's why we're here. Can't stop. All right, with that, welcome to day 67. And let's see, are you on? Yes, you are. All right, let's get to it. It's clown shoes, fellas. It's clown shoes, how stiff my fingers are. We'll just slow down, actually. Suck a little more than I usually do. Fuck. Clown shoes when your fingers ain't working. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. And a few OG people are like, what the hell did you do? Well, I put in 10 palm trees and 6 cactuses. So I had like 16 holes to dig on a hill. It was clown shoes. But my backside of my prepper looks cool now. All right, so let's pull out Miss Jackson and jump into that. Probably go a little shorter day, just because, well, maybe not. Who knows? I always say that, and then it always goes a little longer. So actually, no, we're going to leave you plugged in. Might over jump over to the Predator today just because it's in drop C tuning down a little bit. And yeah, Whammy Bar Wednesday. Probably not going to be a lot of Whammy Bar today, to be honest. I was practicing last night, and it was cool, but my forearms were getting tight last night, and I'm like, hopefully this doesn't fuck up tomorrow morning. Sure as shit. Never ceases to amaze. However, you got to hear what this sounds like. You know what? This phone's probably going to clip out something terrible. However, it's going through the Peavey. I was messing with this last night, making all the walls rattle. It was awesome. I highly doubt it's going to come through, but maybe it will just a little bit. We'll see. But this sounds so good. Oh, and this is in G sharp, a step and a half all the way down. And the nice part about it is that the strings are nice and soft. For a little bit to let the hand recover between riffs. So the amp, I'm in the Mesa Boogie hole. However, now that the Peavey's working, I also talked to the local dude down at the Guitar Center, young cat, plays in a couple of metal bands. He uses all Peavey heads and orange cabs. And I told him what I had, and he's like, run a bigger cab. He's like, try an orange cab. He's like, you might like it. And I'm like, huh. So I may end up getting a cab instead of the amp, because I have 3 amps. I got an Orange Dark Terror, tube amp, Peavey tube amp, and the Boss Katana. And the other challenge I told him about was there's no real way to switch between unless I got to crawl back behind and switch it around. So I'm starting to think about having a cab for each one of a different cab for each one of my heads. So I can then use a speaker splitter, I think that's what it is, and then I can switch stuff back and forth. So any of you guys who have experience with running multiple combinations, how do you switch all that up, or you just run it through mics into your interface? That's kind of the challenge right now, is that I'm having to unhook and hook everything up every time I want to change amps and change cabs. It'd be really nice just to be able to have everything hooked into one singular thing. The Scarlett 18 i16 that I have has plenty of inputs. So that was a recommendation he gave me, and I was like, maybe I'll get a cab instead of an amp, because I literally have plenty of amps, or maybe I'll get a cab and another guitar. However, the guitars I'm looking at and I've been trying, they're like, I have a $1,000 budget on this particular one, just because, you have to have a budget somehow. And so I'm kind of I'm on the fence about this. So, and all of you who are still watching, you wonderful guitar loving souls, thank you so much. Again, kind of a weird thing today, but life sometimes throws you a rotten apple, and you just kind of got to roll with that shit. Was not expecting to wake up this morning with my left arm blown up to no end. It's this muscle soreness, it'll get better, but damn, it's like, ugh, that's why I was laughing. Like my pinky just doesn't work. It's crazy. All right, we're gonna chug on. that's all that matters. And having fun despite a funky ass left arm. Thank God this action is so low. And this is nice and soft. Swinging is so soft. That's straight, damn it. My right arm's about 75%. Try a different pick. Nothing's gonna help. Yeah, fuck no. little bit of whammy bar. However, I am running solo right now. Alright, enough fiddle diddling. It's going to be a shorter one today, boys. However, a little massage, a little Theragun on the old forearm. We'll be good to go for tomorrow. And a couple of beers, and a shitload of Advil. All right. Everyone, if you're still watching, you're an amazing soul. This is how the process goes. We're going to do it every single day. So we are day 67 in the bag. And I will see you all tomorrow for day 68. Peace. See you tomorrow.